Hello, welcome to our regular Thursday night IG live session. Well, today we are going to be talking about building your baby's language foundation. I've come across two kinds of parents. Number one is the kind who feel that because a baby is only she's immobile and she can't see much, she can't do much, and therefore we don't have to teach her too much. So I would like to put that misconception to rest tonight, because there's a lot of things that we can do and we should do to capitalize on our baby's first 2 years, because it is super important that we do these things to set their language foundation right. Okay, and the second misconception that I hear about is that parents are often, they swing to the other extreme, could be a different group of parents, but these group of parents or moms are really guilt-ridden that they don't do enough for their child. They don't have time to do flashcards, they don't read to their kids, they don't send them for baby enrichment classes and all that. And I am here to tell you, if you fall into the second category, that please rest assured that you don't have to do too much and you don't have to swing to the other extreme. Okay, so tonight I'm going to tell you 3 things that you can, and it will really set your baby up for success in learning language if you do these 3 things. Number 1 is to talk and sing a lot to him or her. Okay, from 0 to 1, babies, in fact 0 to 3 years old, okay, Montessori calls this the absorbent period. And babies they're just absorbing everything in their environment like a sponge. So they are just taking in all that they're hearing, all that they're seeing. And so research has shown that babies learn the best not through television screens, not through iPad apps, okay, or not through the latest fangled things on TV or what they try to sell you, but really it's really just face-to-face, back and forth interaction with the caregiver and parent yourself. So the best way that they learn is really to just keep talking. You just keep talking to them, pause and wait for them to cool and respond or make some sounds like then you carry on the conversation. Oh, so you're saying you like this, so you're telling me that this is fun for you, right? Okay, so that's the back and forth that I'm talking about. You talk, wait for baby to respond by either looking at you or smiling, chuckling, or making a sound, and then you carry on that conversation on your own. So there's this pretty recent research. How do we know that babies are actually absorbing all these things? So until recently, it was just a conjecture or a theory. But until recently, in fact, it's just this year, 2020, there's a researcher called Evan Kidd. So basically, he attached electrodes to 8-month-old babies. Okay, he set them in a IKEA high chair, and he let them watch or listen to a speaker say a sentence, and then she paused and then she repeated a word. So for example, the sentence is the eagle has flown into the nest. Okay, and then 3 seconds later, or 0.3 seconds later, something like that, they said eagle. And then they found that there was a spike in brainwave pattern for the babies at the word eagle. So that means that the babies have actually recognized the new word eagle, and he has actually learned, or there's some learning involved. And that's how we know that babies are learning everything or absorbing everything that we say. And so what does that mean for us? This means that we will do really well if we just keep talking to the kids, we just keep giving them input. And how do we do that? We don't talk in baby lingo, and we don't use cutesy made up words like pom pom. Okay, I do that, yeah, like pom pom, or those cutesy baby language that our grandmothers like to use, okay, or our mothers. So I mean, of course, if you have 1 or 2 and it's really cute, it adds to the whole relationship, but that's fine, okay? But most of the time, you should be talking to your child like how you would talk to an adult, using the same vocabulary, same good sentence structures and grammar, okay? But you can slow down your speech. And we call this kind of speech parentese. It's the kind of way you talk to a baby. It comes pretty naturally, I think. So for example, you will raise your tone a bit higher, okay, and you'll speak slower, of course, and then you'll pause at the important content word. So for example, hey Ariel, Would you like a bath? Do you want to go to the bathroom? Okay, yeah, things like that. It's a bit strange, but you get what I mean, right? So you talk slower, you talk in a raised voice to catch her attention, and then you can repeat some of these key phrases that you want her or him to pick up. Okay. The other thing that you can do is to narrate your every action. Basically, you have a monologue with the baby, and it can be really yeah. So as your baby wearing, I love to baby wear because she's so close to me, right? I feel like I have to talk to her. It gives me a lot of chances to talk to her. So you just carry your baby baby wear or something, and when you go down to the shops, run your errands, just point and tell her, oh, look at that dog, and then describe the dog. It's so fluffy, it's so white, oh, I love to squeeze it like a little cotton ball. Or what sounds does the dog make? Woof woof. Okay, so things like that. So you just describe. If you find that you're at a loss for words what to say to baby, you can just describe according to 5 things, maybe, or 5 senses. Okay, what you see, what you hear, what you touch, the texture of it, what you smell, and what you taste. Of course, not all 5 senses will apply to like a dog. You can't taste the dog or smell the dog, but you get my drift, right? So you can go according to these 5 senses and describe them. And then you talk about the color, you can talk about your experience, you can talk about stories. Okay, so basically anything, you just talk. Have a monologue with your child. Okay. The other thing you can do is to sing songs and nursery rhymes. Or we sing worship songs to my baby, and she can sing full songs, do pop songs as well. I don't know, the Jay Chou songs, Zhou Jielun songs, which are very literary, and your mother tongue songs as well. So you just keep singing to your baby, and babies they gear very much towards rhyme and the rhythm of like nursery rhymes and all that. So for this COVID circuit breaker period, my baby has been watching a lot of TV, and if you have Netflix, she really loves. My baby just turned 2 today. Okay, so that gives you an idea of how old that these things are suitable. So my baby loves this program on Netflix called Mother Goose Club. It drives all of us mad, but she loves it, and she actually learns a lot of songs from there, and the actions, and she can sing like the full songs like Humpty Dumpty, Little Miss Muffet, the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Is that it? Yeah. And other things are like Coco Melon. These are like the more popular, more trendy kind of nursery rhymes or kid songs, right? So you can let your kids either listen to it if you don't want them to be on the YouTube too much. You can just switch it on the audio for them to listen to the songs. Okay? So that's my first point, that is to talk and sing a lot. Okay, then number 2 is to read. Read a lot to your child. If you don't manage to do anything else, you don't do flashcards, you don't do theme lessons, you don't do anything, right? Just read. It doesn't have to be following a theme. Just anything you can pull off your shelf, okay? Either board books or even harder stuff. I think board books will be good, if not picture books. Yeah, picture books. Yeah, so if you can find some of these books, I'm not a stickler for. I'm not really a snob for like those. I go for the classic literature books because I just pull anything off the shelf, and I think that's good enough. But of course, if you want to be deliberate to expose her to good children's kid lit literature and all that, feel free to do that, okay? But I'm just saying that any reading, any book is better than no book. Yeah, that's my point. Okay, so if you have a newborn, you can try to get those picture books without words, with black, white, and red pictures, because that's what the baby can see, the infant can see for about maybe 3 months or so. So they'll be drawn to these high contrast images. Okay, and Montessori actually advocates that we find books that feature real things, either real people, real animals, and even if it's illustrations, they are drawn in a more realistic way instead of the cartoony or vector kind of drawing of illustrations. Why? Because she feels that She believes that kids from 0 to 6 need to be grounded in reality, and the more real experiences we give them, the more authentic experiences we give them, the better they are able to grasp reality, make sense of their world. Because when they just enter the world, it's a whole blooming confusion, right? If we throw babies things like talking animals, fairy tales, princesses who have magic and all that stuff, then their sense of reality, what's real in the world and what is fantasy, can be a little mixed. And therefore, that's why we also try to warn parents that below the age of 4 especially, not to expose the kids to too much like either violence or shows that feature a lot of superheroes, because you do hear of these stories, right, where the kids cannot differentiate reality and they think that they can fly, they think that they are Superman or Batman, and they jump out the window, you know. So of course that's a really extreme case and example, but so the point is kids below the age of 6 have challenges differentiating reality from fantasy, so we don't want to add to that confusion. As much as possible, let's try to source or be deliberate about finding books which feature real things, and pictures that are as real as possible. It's actually very hard. Have you actually tried it? Like if you go to the library and just glance, right, at all their bought books and what's available even on Book Depository or Amazon, a lot of the award-winning books or popular books are talking animals, and it's actually you have to make quite an effort to go and find all these real books, books that feature real people and animals and things. But I think it's worth doing it. So for myself, I will try to find, but if I can't, then I'll just grab whatever I have, and it may be of a talking animal, like the Eric Carle ones, the Eric Carle's one, like the telling the time one, what's that, the very busy spider. So the animals are actually talking, right? So yeah. So number 1 is to talk and sing to your kids. Number 2 is to read. Number 3, my final point, is to just observe. Okay, observe to see what your babies are interested in, and this one probably will kick in more when your child can already crawl and walk, so when he or she is mobile. Even when you have an infant, you can kind of observe like what is holding his interest. For example, if you hang up a mobile, does he stare at it? Does it hold his interest, and how long? If you give him a book with the black and white pictures, does he try to grab it? Does he try to touch it? You know, things like that. So you can start observing your child when he's very, very young. Then when he gets to a crawling, walking stage, you can just look at what he gravitates to. Okay, so for example, my baby, I know, is still going through this pulling wet wipes out from the box. She's like a wet wipe monster. So if your baby is like that, she's into this pulling stage, it means that she is trying to exercise her hand muscles, and it's nice, right? It's nice to pull and see all that wet wipes coming out, right? So it's fascinating for her. So what you can do is to, of course, because it's wasteful and we don't want the child to think that it's okay or create or have a bad habit, right? So we will of course stop the child in this scenario. But you know that he or she is into pulling, so what you can do is to find an empty tissue box, put in some cloth, strips of cloth, and then she can pull, right, to her heart's content. And after that, of course, you just put back the stuff and she can redo the activity all over again. Yeah. So the point is, okay, another example is if they are into slotting coins. So I think from very young, like when about 1 year old or so, my mother-in-law would love to, she has a piggy bank for each of the grandkids, so she would love to like ask them to put their coins in. So it's something that fascinates my kids. So I would try to get more coins or those round counters, puncture a hole in a box or something, and then she can just keep slotting in the coins. So all these are like building her hand-eye coordination and fine motor grip, as well as accuracy and concentration. Yeah. So the main point is, if they are already doing something, they are interested in the activity already, don't interrupt them. Okay, this is what I find that a lot of people, a lot of moms feel very guilty. Like every spare moment they have, they will just try. Every spare moment they have, they see their baby doing something, they'll be like, oh no, I'm not engaging with my baby, I need to read to her, I need to do something with her now. So if she's slotting in coins, then I will go like, hey baby, come, let's do reading now. Okay, so that is a no, because if she's already doing something, if she's happy, she's not messing around, or she's not what do you call that, fussing for you, then leave her be. You know, just be quiet, observe what she's doing. If she's okay, then you go off and do your other stuff and come back again later. If not, she will come and look for you, right? If she needs something, if she wants your attention, she'll come and look for you. Then that's the time where you can say, okay, let's go and do reading now, or okay, let's do an activity now. Yeah, so don't be too anxious to don't be too driven, to just break that concentration. And a lot of parents ask me like, hey, my 3-4-year-old kids are not concentrating or have trouble concentrating for long periods of time. So my first question to them will always be, have you just reflect through your day and ask yourself and just look through your day and see whether you have there have been instances of you breaking his flow of concentration by just barging in or telling him to do something, go and bathe, go and eat, things like that, without regard for whether he's in his flow or not. Yeah, of course there are certain times, where it's lunchtime, it's bath time, you have to break up his activity and not let him carry on. But if it's already in the routine, then everybody should know that those times are bath times and lunch times. So they should be interrupted for these activities. But in between those things, do you give your child time and space to really concentrate on something? Yeah, because can you imagine if you yourself, right, as you're working, as you're doing your work on your computer, you're in your flow, and colleagues just keep coming to you and asking you for stuff, interrupting you with gossip, it's annoying, right? It's irritating because they are breaking your concentration. And what happens for a child who is prone to this interruption for long periods of time? They will be frustrated, they will be annoyed, they will realize that, hey, what's the point of concentrating when mommy's or daddy's or somebody else is going to come and disturb me or break my train of thought in a while. So hence the concentration period, the ability to concentrate becomes shorter and shorter. Yeah, so don't be guilty. Okay, I think that in times like these, observing and not doing anything is better than interrupting the activity and doing something. And you don't have to feel compelled to teach, to engage, or entertain your child every single moment that you are free. Okay, when you are free, enjoy your free time. That is your entitlement and your privilege. Go enjoy a cup of tea, go enjoy a cup of coffee, go read a book or something. When your child needs you, he will come and look for you. Okay, so after all these things, if you still feel insecure, if you still feel that you need to do more, then repeat steps 1, 2, 3 in your mother tongue. Remember, we're all doing this I had assumed that we're doing all these language building exercises in English, right? But you have to do all 3 steps again in your mother tongue as well. Okay, so a quick recap. Point 1 is to talk and sing often to your child. Number 2 is to read, and number 3 is just to observe and then give him or her more activities that you know he's interested in. Okay, yeah, great, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week, next Thursday, 10 p.m. Bye bye.